I'm going to bring up Tanya and Nehemie. And I'm so excited to have you guys join us. When you sit down, let's hear a little bit about you. Oh, these shoes are really cute. I like this look. So why don't you introduce yourself, Nehemie, and tell us, a little bit about yourself and what you do, and then we'll hear from Tanya, and we'll get right into this.
Well, my name is Nehemie, again. So basically what I do is I'm a personal stylist. I work with anybody basically that will, that wants to be styled by me. And my role as a stylist is just really to make you look good, feel good, and to also encourage you. So that's what I do. That's kind of like what I do on the side. But I also work in the healthcare field as well.
Thank you. And Tanya?
Hello. So excited to be here. So I recently graduated, so I'm an architectural designer and also a personal stylist. I recently became a personal stylist, and it's been really good. Like Nehemie said, we just want to make people feel good, usually work with a vision for a shoot, or if it's more personal, like just a closet cleanse. That's what I've been doing so far.
Well, let's talk about the closet cleanse. I like that word.
I've been with you and your closet cleanses. Okay?
Yeah.
So when I think of a closet cleanse, especially in the quarantine, a lot of us are cleansing our closet.
Yeah.
And so what does that really mean, to cleanse your closet?
So, first of all, it's removing things that are not needed, right? Because a lot of the times we just keep on packing on things. You might have something that you bought in like 2003. What's it still doing in your closet? Like, you don't need it, you don't wear it, so what's the point of having it in your closet? It's just creating so much clutter that it makes it so hard for you to dress up in the morning because there's so much distraction going on. Whereas if you take those things out, if you begin to cleanse, you're left with what you actually need. Because you get so confused when there's so much confusion in your closet. So that's the cleanse.
Wow. So how do you approach styling a client?
Well, it usually depends on the client in particular. So let's say if it's a shoot, for example, I usually start off with a vision. So I start off with a mood board. So it doesn't necessarily have to be clothes, it could be just aesthetics, like how the shoot would feel, like what the atmosphere would be, the ambiance. So I start off with that. And then from there, we start to look at looks, looking at, what kind of look are we going for? Is it more sophisticated? Is it a play look? Like, what kind of look are we going for? So it depends on the type of shoot that we'll be going for. So that's usually how I go about for a fashion shoot.
And in terms of your own personal closet cleanse and styling yourself, what are some of the things that you look for yourself?
So for me, I think my style has been changing. I think I'm becoming a bit more daring. I really enjoy playing around with different pieces. Like, I'm just starting to get really comfortable with more unconventional pieces. Like, I'll wear something that maybe someone might not typically wear. Like, they may not really reach out for it when they see it in the store. But if I see something and it's a bit quirky, I'm like, this is interesting. Maybe let me try and play around with it. So that's how my style has kind of been evolving.
Do you think looking for interesting pieces has anything to do with being an architect? Like, are you looking for architectural design to show up in your clothing?
I think it does have like a really, like if I look at what I have, most of the things I own are very structural, like what I'm wearing right now. Like it's very like structured, and I like things like that. And with architecture, it's all about that, like lines, structure, movement, fluidity, and that's typically what I wear. So I guess my eyes kind of in tune with things like that. So I'm drawn to things like that too.
Okay. And Nehemie, so you have come to my house and have helped me with a closet cleanse, or so we thought,
Yes.
right? And so, like, explain what you did when you came over.
I think when, we approached the closet cleanse, I think a lot of it had to do with what pieces could still be reused. Tanya kind of mentioned the closet cleanse, but you might have some old pieces that you still really love, and you just really need to know how to recreate it. So I think just taking the approach of finding those pieces that you love and knowing how to make them work for you in this present time, so that way you can kind of repurpose it. Because the thing with like fashion is that there's always going to be trends, and a lot of trends are recycled. So things that you probably wore in 2000s are probably relevant right now. They're just making a comeback, and just finding a way to repurpose that item and make it work for you in this present time. And I think that's kind of what we took, that kind of approach is what we took when we did the closet cleanse, and kind of just making sure that the pieces were able to be repurposed and create something great out of it.
So when you are, dressing for yourself, how do you approach finding your personal style?
Well, I don't think I wouldn't say that I would categorize my style as one specific type, but I do like to look for interesting pieces, and I kind of work around that. I like to play with color. I like funky pieces that are a little bit different, like even my earrings, or I like to play with patterns. And once I find like a piece that I like, then I'm gonna get that piece and just make it work for me. But that's really my approach. I just like to, I think my eye gets drawn to certain items that are just different, that, like Tanya kind of said, you may not see somebody else wear that piece. And you're just like, oh, that's different. Can it work for me? That's sort of my approach with my particular, when I style myself, I like to just find those very interesting pieces.
And when you're working with clients, what is the approach that you take when you're working with a client?
So when I'm working with clients, I do give them a questionnaire because I want to see where they're at. And I do want to take clients out of their comfort zone, but I don't want to keep them fully in their comfort zone. So I do ask them, like, what's something that kind of like draws your eye? How would you explain your style? Or what kind of look are you looking for? And I kind of have to work around that. Sometimes, like, it helps if, like, if they have a social media page, I'll kind of like sift through it and see, maybe some of the things that they've worn before, and use that as a guide to, try something new with them, but still make sure that they're comfortable in their skin. Because at the end of the day, when you style someone, you can try to style them like yourself, but you want to make sure that they're fully comfortable in what they're wearing and that they feel confident. So I really do take that approach of trying to make sure that I take them out their comfort zone, but not like too far.
Yes. So as we come to a close, if all of you could think of, as we are in this DASH Takeover, this day where women have carved this, 12 hours away for themselves, and they are trying to learn, time management, organization, relationships, and now here we are in the fashion and beauty segment. What is one thing that you would say to women in terms of, the full look, hair, makeup, style? What piece of advice would you give?
I think my approach is usually I just like to look put together. I feel like my style is a representation of who I am and sometimes who I'm aspiring to be. If I'm not fully feeling bold, I want my outfit to show that I'm bold because I'm trying to like show what it is that I want to be. So I kind of give that advice to other people as well. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, try new things. And really what you're rocking is your confidence. So just continue to rock your confidence, stay encouraged. Sometimes even when you're trying new stuff, just affirm yourself. Sometimes I have to go into my mirror and affirm myself like, girl, you look beautiful, even when I might not necessarily feel it. So just rocking your confidence.
That's a great piece of advice. And I love how you said, even when you're not feeling it, look in the mirror and say, girl, you got this.
Right.
Like I have that in my vlog room on my door. It says, well, over my door, and I'm over the top and I don't care. Over my door, it says, be fabulous. So every time I walk out the door, I'm like, girl, you are fabulous. And then when I look over there on the other side, it says, you are gorgeous. And then when I look on the door, it says, you got this, girl. So,
Right.
you know, having all of those affirmations are so powerful, even when you're not feeling it, because you may not feel it all the time.
Right.
So that was some really great advice. And girl, you look beautiful today.
Thank you.
I love the skirt. I love the leopard print on the. I mean, it's just you got it.
Thank you.
And those earrings, are those H&M?
No, these are actually like some really cheap earrings. I probably paid like $3 for them.
They are fabulous.
Yeah.
I love those. What advice would you give, Angel, for women that are watching and they want to show up fully loaded?
So my advice would be this: from head to toe, starting with makeup, throw away anything that you haven't used within the last 2 to 1 year. One, because you are actually doing yourself a disservice by using old products. Your skin's probably gonna break out when you use them. If you look on the back of products, they actually tell you when your product expires as soon as you open it.
Are you trying to talk to me right now?
I'm talking to all of us, honey.
Okay, because I see how you're looking at me.
Even me. Well, eye contact, engagement.
Yes. Mhm.
Right?
Okay. Gotcha.
So that would be my first thing. And that even goes for hair products because hair products go bad too. So you want to make sure you're getting rid of old products. Old products, you want to get rid of anything that you haven't used in a long time because they're not good. They're not good for you anymore. That's my first piece of advice. Second, don't feel as if you have to break the bank just to buy good products. Drugstore, Maybelline was one of my favorite items to have in my makeup kit for clients. And every time I bought their foundation, whether it was the dewy or matte, always looked amazing on my clients. You just have to go out there, try some things. If you don't like it, return it.
Yeah.
I feel like for women, we don't think we could return things, but I learned it from you. If it don't serve you, return it.
Yeah.
And, same thing with hair care. If it doesn't work for you and you can't return it, give it to a friend.
Yeah.
But always be intentional about what you want to put on your face, put in your hair, and even how you dress. So just like how Nehemie and Tanya said, try new things out and see what works for you and then own it.
Yeah. Yes.
That's my advice, yeah.
Thank you. Own it.
So I would say definitely to tap into your inner child, because I think that as we grow up, we get so used to so many restrictions. Like at work, you have to dress like this, you have to look like that, and we get like lost in the source, but the work source. So you end up finding yourself dressing like you're going to work on a Saturday, yet you're not going to work.
Yeah.
But when we were kids, I'm sure we've all gone into our parents, like our mom's closet, to just try on some things, and it looks a mess, but it's the inner child in you just being so creative and imaginative. And I think it's very important that even when we're adults, that we should tap into that carefree imagination of just trying things on and not having a care in the world, and just see how it goes. Just be creative. They're clothes, like have fun with them. Don't let restrictions keep on being on top of you when you're not at work, you know? So just to be carefree and be creative and be a child with your clothes.
Well, thank you. I just want to say to all three of you as we wrap up this session that, and really to those that are watching, I think it's really important, no matter what age you are, that to reach into the younger generation. You know, I'm 53, and I have reached out to all of you and said, hey, what do you think of this? And, you know, can you put some looks together for me? And I think that, you know, when we really unite and come together, that it's a very powerful thing because we are all learning from each other. And life is, you know, it's quite a journey, and it's a journey to be shared together. And whenever I've asked anything of each of you, you guys have always had a yes. And so it really is my pleasure to invite you guys to be a part and to hear the advice and the stories that you guys have just shared with women all over the world. And this DASH Takeover, as the young people will say, is pretty lit. You know, we about to end, and we're going into our dance party. That's why I'm all dressed up, because we're about to go into this dance party and like really, we're about to have a good time. And I like that you said, you know, be carefree, because I think sometimes even in our Christian walks, we can get a little too tight. And God had a good time. I mean, when he made the lights, he made the stars, he made the moon. I mean, he made all different kinds of trees and birds and animals, and some animals look really strange. And I can just imagine him saying, oh, isn't that funny? And so, you know, I think that when, you know, we really have lost the Titus 2 women. And so I'm hoping this day, this DASH Takeover, with the multi-generations that we've had throughout the day, that women can walk away and say, you know what, I need to meet some more young people. I need to be a little bit more carefree, a little bit more daring, and really get into this exchange and remember the days of my youth. And so thank you guys for sharing and helping me to remember the days of my, you know, I haven't forgotten them. I like to have a really good time. So, but thank you so much. This has been amazing. We will make sure that we put all of your social media handles up on the screen so that people can follow you and see the things that you're doing, and you know, be launched. You know, all right.
Thank you.
Okay, so